Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And we have been talking about springing forward and resilience for the last couple of shows. How do we overcome things and keep stepping forward? Our amazing guest today is going to be sharing a little bit of her journey with us. And we've titled the show A Horizon of Hope, held by faith, carried by hope. And I think it's so important that we keep that hope, that we keep that light that we can see, even if we're in a tunnel, that there's still that speck of light that we can see ahead and keep taking steps forward. That's how we can spring forward. That's how we can move forward on purpose and with purpose. I know you're going to enjoy meeting our guest today, Dondee. She has an amazing heart and spirit and mission to really make a positive difference in the world. And so I know we've got a rich conversation ahead. I'm honored to have each of you leaning in to join us today. And I want you to get the most out of our time together. So here are my tips. One, I encourage you to be fully present. Give yourself that gift. So often we're multitasking, being pulled in a zillion directions. We might be here in body, but our mind is somewhere else, or we're suddenly distracted. Really give yourself this time to be, to receive, to be poured into. That is a huge gift and will support you. Two, listen to what's coming up, bubbling up, not just what we're sharing and have on our heart to bring forward today, but as we do that, how does it mix with what's in your heart and spirit? And then three, I encourage you to take notes. Write down something that sparks something within you. Maybe there's a memory that bubbles up or a important reminder, or that's a great tool I can start to bring forward, or a different perspective. Write those things down. That helps them not just swirl around you and then swirl away, but actually gives you a time to really integrate what is coming forward, what can serve, what can support you, because this is your time. This is an opportunity for you to listen, to receive, to be poured into. So I encourage you to receive this time together on purpose and with purpose. Beautiful. So let's take a breath in through our nose, all the way to our toes. I even wiggle my toes sometimes, making sure oxygen's getting everywhere in my body, all the way through. And as I breathe in, I picture all of this wonderful support and whatever energy I need or encouragement I need. I breathe that all in. And then when I breathe out those things I no longer serve with appreciation and release, creating room and space for more. And then every breath I take in brings in more amazing support. And then out, continuing to release what is no longer needed. As you're taking these beautiful breaths in and releasing out, I encourage you to put both hands on your heart. And let's bring our heart and our spirit into the mix. So as you breathe and both hands are on your heart, and you start to notice that beat of your heart, there's a pause there. And what is that pause sharing with you today? Beat by beat, pause by pause. What is it that you need today? What is it that will encourage, empower, and support you? What do you need that you are willing to receive? What is it that you need and are willing to receive? Because you have choice. Just see with curiosity. Maybe there's a reminder, maybe a memory, or a sound, or a scent, something that is coming forward for you to notice. Beautiful. So receive that information. Take another beautiful breath. Eyes open if you close them, fully present. And take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart, what it is that you need and are willing to receive, or the reminder or information that came forward. Let's take a moment and capture that. Write that down. Beautiful. And Dondee, I would love for you to share when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen. What is it that you need? What is it that bubbled up? Or maybe a reminder, something that you have on your heart to share with our listeners today. We'd love to hear.
Oh gosh, well, thank you for the opportunity and thank you to the listeners. What fell on my heart when you spoke those beautiful words was the memory of my father. He gave me so much love during his lifetime, and I miss him terribly, but I can still hear his voice.
Thank you for sharing. I love that I can feel the love, the tenderness in your heart as you shared. And I love that you're tying into that memory of his incredible love and that you can still hear his voice and in a moment bring that in. How beautiful.
Yes. Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Listeners, how about you? Maybe you heard someone's you love, their voice again, or a song. I frequently will hear songs, like a phrase in a song or music that will connect me. I hear that sometimes when I pause. Today, when I stopped and listened, I just felt this peace and connection and appreciation that we get to have this time together. And I just thank you, all of you, for being part of that and being part of our journey through the years. If you've been with us for years or you're just joining us, just so thankful and grateful. And I'm excited to see what will unfold in our conversation today. So, as we go to our first commercial break, this is an opportunity for you to really listen, receive, pause, see what's bubbling up. See with what Dondee shared or what I shared, how that fits into or adds to or sparks something within you. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that time, that opportunity to be present, to slow down a little bit. I find when I remember to pause, to slow down, I can be more in a place of choice, choosing how I respond instead of reacting or panic or just I need to do something. But when I remember to pause, I can be more mindful and choose more of who I want to be, how I want to show. And then what I do seems to be more aligned and effective. So, in a way, slowing down, I get to go faster. It's more effective, the things that I lean into or share or bring forward. So I invite you as you listen, really drink it in and just keep remembering to pause, to breathe in, to receive everything that serves you, because this is time for you to pour into you. So I want you to drink in deeply everything that is here. Now, in our opening segment, our guest shared a little bit just how much she misses her father and just how much love he shared with her. And that just moved her deeply. And we went to break shortly after that. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of who Dondee is now that you've met her on a heart level. So it's my privilege to introduce Dondee Sponseller to you. She is a faith driven author and mother whose work really, I want to pause there for a moment because I feel like she does so much in this space of supporting people. She feels like her work is really designed and her heart's desire is to be a witness to God's power and the healing that he brings forward and can deliver and she has experienced in her life. So through her courageous truth telling, she shares her story of survival, faith, and freedom after escaping abuse, offering light to those who feel trapped. And she's absolutely passionate about helping people reclaim their voice, breaking the cycles of abuse, and stepping into hope, dignity, and freedom. Please lean in, warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and heart centered Dondee Sponseller to the show.
Thanks so
Welcome.
much, Rebecca. I really appreciate this. This is such an honor. And thank you again to the listeners.
You are so welcome. We are just thrilled to have you joining us. And I wanted to start because people are just meeting you. My listeners are getting this is the first time we've had you on, so they're just getting to know you a little bit. I'd like for
Yes.
you to share why is this work of helping others who feel trapped or perhaps have lost hope or discouraged, why is it important for you to help break those cycles of abuse and have people step into their dignity and freedom?
Well, it's important to me because I've been there. I know what it feels like. And I held on to hope for a long time that things would get better. But unfortunately, sometimes the other person that you're in a relationship with isn't willing to walk that walk with you or take that step with you. And so it's important then that you help yourself, especially when there's children involved. You don't want your children to think that that's what true love is.
Mm,
You want them to see um, how they should truly love themselves and others and what that looks like and what it feels like.
beautiful. And so you've been willing to step forward and start talking about this and sharing your story to support others. And I think that's courageous and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of
Yes.
healing and and a lot to keep trusting the world, to keep trusting others with your story and to be willing to share it as a way of almost reaching out your hand and showing here's the way you can do it too and giving people hope. And I just applaud what you're doing in the world.
Thank you so much, Rebecca.
You're welcome. And I know part of how you're stepping into this space and looking to help people and bring awareness and bring encouragement is through a book that you're bringing forward called Horizon of Hope. I love how it ties into the title, right? Horizon of Hope. And I'd love for you to share why. Why did you write this? And why was it important? And I'm curious in that what you also discovered yourself in writing.
Well, thank you for that. Well, it all started with a vision given to me from heaven. That was on May 10th, the early hours of May 10th, back in 2021. Um, I was told by God that I would write a book called Horizon of Hope and that it would heal many women and children. And I didn't know what that story was. I was only given the title. I didn't know what it entailed, but it gave me a lot of hope because that was shortly after, um, well, the day before actually, that my ex-husband was arrested. And I know God came to me that night wanting to provide hope and to prepare me for what was going to come ahead. I didn't know the ins and outs of that just then, but it started to unfold, and slowly he showed me what the story was.
Hmm. Oh, as this was unfolding, did you start to just write down things as they came, or how did you start to? Because I'm just sitting there thinking, wow, your husband had just been taken in, and you are getting this vision and not quite sure all of what to do with it, but you can tell I've been called to do this. This is coming forward. How did you start to take that in, believe it, and how did you start taking steps?
Well, it definitely wasn't easy. Um, at the beginning, I really had a lot of hope at the beginning of my trial and the
Mm-hmm,
test, because I was like, wow, okay, God's with me. He's showing me that He's with me. But towards the middle of it, I started to change my view. I lost hope because I
mm,
thought, oh, God's punishing me because my children were taken from me and the
mm,
tables were being turned on me and I was being accused of being the abuser. Um, and taking my kids from me, that was the greatest pain
mm,
I've ever experienced in my life.
mm,
And so I was thinking, oh, God's angry with me. I'm being punished. But then it was towards the end when it was restored
mm,
that I realized, oh, it was all along, it was a faith walk. I should have never doubted God because He showed me that He was there all along.
mm.
And so it's almost like I feel shame for
Beautiful.
doubting Him, but I think it's understandable that when something really bad happens to us, we're like, oh no, God has left us. But that's not the case. He was just showing me that don't trust in what you see. You can't trust in that. You have to walk by faith.
Mm,
Even when it gets scary, you have to know that He is there with you and He's just wanting to He's wanting to draw you closer to Him. He's wanting to show you that I am here for you. You can't rely on people or systems, they're all flawed. You have to look to Him. He's
mm.
on the horizon.
Thank you. I'm just giving everyone a moment to drink that in, to feel their response as as they take that in, because we may be in all different places with challenging times, dark times. And I'm curious, as you look back on that time and getting to see it with a different perspective than in the beginning and the middle, you've come through it. What would you whisper to yourself in the middle that would encourage you, or perhaps encourage one of our listeners today?
Wow, well, I definitely didn't give up. I kept going during my journey, but I wish I would have at that time. I would whisper to myself at that time, don't lose faith. Because at times like I said, I did, even though I knew God was with me. I did lose my faith in the middle of it. And I would whisper, don't give up, don't lose faith. It's going to turn out, everything's going to be okay because this is all temporary. And that's important for everyone to understand that everything that we go through, it's just temporary. And we need to understand that the tests that are brought on our path is to bring us closer to God and to bring others closer to God and to make us stronger in Him.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. And as you have gone on the journey you've gone on, and you've leaned in to creating and writing Horizon of Hope, what is it? So I guess in that, why did you decide the book? And what are you hoping it does as it goes out into the world? Because I know it's coming out soon, later,
Yes.
early summer, it's coming out. But I'd love for you to share kind of your intention, your vision, what you're hoping happens as this book goes out into the world.
Well, what I know because well, I've been asked this question before about why I decided to write this book. First of all, like I told this person, I was not given a choice. I was obedient to God. He told me to write this book, and when God tells you to do something, you cannot hesitate. And I love him so much, and it's an honor to be able to do this for him. It's difficult to put my story out there. This is not easy by any means. This is difficult because this is a very personal, painful story with a lot of hope in it, but there's a lot of pain in there, and it's my pain. And so it's a very vulnerable position to be in. But if it helps and heals others, then it will be all worth it.
Thank you. Oh, do you mind sharing when the book will come out so that our listeners can put that on their calendar? Those who, listeners, if you feel that same lean in that I'm feeling, that pull in your heart, we want to let you know how you can be in the loop as far as when it's coming out and how it's being released.
Yes, it's being, and thank you for asking. It's being published on June 16th of this year.
Perfect. And I know it's going to be launched in a Kindle format, a digital format that will
Yes.
have that special rate. Listeners, you're probably familiar with this because we talk about books being released this way. It'll be that special rate of $1.99 for the first 24 to 48 hours, just depending on how quickly everything is shared out into the world. And we're going to be right alongside Dondee helping share the word, share about this book and share the opportunity. So, for those of you who love Kindle and like to get a special rate, it'll be that $1.99 for the first 24 to possibly 48 hours. So, make sure to put it on your calendar so that you can lean in and get a copy. We'd love your support in sharing it out as well. And Dondi, do you mind sharing what the cover looks like? I always love to give a visual to our
Oh,
listeners.
sure. Yeah. Well, it's a sunset, and on the cover it's the cloud, one of the clouds looks like a bird. And
Mm,
so I was actually well, I just bought a house recently, but when I was in my previous home, it was an apartment, and my daughter and I actually were standing on the balcony, and what we usually like to do, we like to take pictures of the sunset. And she drew my attention to the cloud, one of the clouds, and she said, "It looks like a bird." And I said, "Oh my gosh, it does. I have to take a picture of that." Because I started to collect figurines of birds. Gosh, when I lived back in Chicago, um, just fascinated with birds. And so I was like, that's going to be the perfect. And this was the summer of 2022. And I thought that's going to be the perfect cover for my book because a bird for
mm,
me means freedom. And I am now free.
mm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do so, listeners, this is an opportunity for you to write down any notes, things that are sparking your heart and your spirit, as Dondi shares with us. And her book titles Horizon of Hope. and is coming out on June 16th. So just making sure you have that information as you're taking notes, and we will continue our conversation in just 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and you've started to write down some of the things that are sparking on your heart and your spirit, or something you want to reflect on, or perspective you want to bring forward. This is also a great moment to look at your notes and see what was laid on your heart at the beginning of our conversation, and just see how that is weaving together as we continue our journey together today, and what we're sharing. And behind the scenes, Dondee and I were talking a little bit, and I was just sharing with her how much I loved her share about the cover. We don't always get to hear why a cover is the way it is, or the significance of something on it. And so I just really appreciated it. And she went on to share with me how meaningful that was, not only because birds are so meaningful to her and tying into freedom, but even that it was her daughter that shared that with her. So, Dondee, anything you'd like to add to that?
Um, yeah, I think you said that beautifully. So thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, it just, again, it means so much to me for the cover because it was my daughter who pointed it out. And so the rest is history with the cover of this book. And my kids are everything to me. So it's very important.
Mm, I love that. And they get to be in, that story, that energy, that vibration is every single book that goes out into the world, digital and print. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Hmm. So, as you've shared and talked about the beginning, the middle, and the end, and where in that middle part it was really hard to keep hope and discouragement. And you shared a little bit of what you would whisper to yourself to encourage you along your way and on the journey. How did
Yes.
you, in the journey, because I know there's setbacks, we always hope that a journey will be this smooth rise arc, and then we're at the pinnacle, we're at the top. And that's not how it works. There's ups and downs or setbacks, especially in a journey like yours, that there were really difficult things that had to be navigated, and there were setbacks. It wasn't just smooth and easy, or
No,
you could see a
absolutely
straight
not.
line of a path, even though if you knew there'd be hard parts. How
Mhm.
did you handle setbacks? How did you navigate um, when there were twists and turns and difficult things?
Well, the thing about abuse survivors is that we're very strong, actually. We may look sometimes like we're weak, but we're very strong. And so, even though it was difficult, I mean, I didn't lay in the bed and just stay stuck there. I said, no, you have to get up. You have to take this step by step every day. Um, I cried a lot. I would wake up at a lot of times at 4 in the morning when I was separated from my kids, and going through the supervised visits, for a long time. I didn't get 50-50 custody of my youngest son until 3 years later. So being supervised with him, not seeing him very often for, I would say it was about a good 18 months. And the moment that my ex-husband filed for sole custody, that really threw me for a loop. And, as a Christian, you think, I'm a Christian. Like, why is this happening to me? I thought that I would be protected, like, oh, my life will be silky smooth and smooth sailing, but that's not the case. A lot of times it's going to be more difficult, but not to be discouraged because your story is not for yourself of what you're going through. Your test is not for yourself. It's to save somebody else. And I recognize that now that my story, my walk of my trail of tears was not for me. It was for somebody else that needed to hear with God, what He can do for you. And when I'd wake up at 4 in the morning crying, those gut wrenching cries, being separated from my kids, I wanted to give up at times. I thought about suicide a few times, because the thought of being without them, I had no purpose without them. I didn't know who I was without my kids because becoming a mother was my absolute dream. That's the only thing I wanted to experience in this life. So being separated was very difficult, but I knew that I had to fight. I had to fight for my kids. There was no other choice. I wasn't willing to give them up.
Mm. And as you experience those moments and had just those gut wrenching tears, and I know we have all had moments that bring us to our knees like that, and these gut wrenching moments, and yet you had that courage to get up and to fight, to keep taking steps. What was the spark, the thing that encouraged you or lit a fire in you? Because sometimes we'll rise to battle for others.
Yeah.
What is it that helped you in those dark moments, not given despair, but to keep getting up, to keep taking steps?
Well, it was God and His word is true that He will not leave you or forsake you. But I have a very special friend who also would keep telling me, keep the faith. This is only temporary. Nothing lasts forever. You can do this. Get back in that ring and fight. And so with that motivation and encouragement and reading the Bible, reading the scripture, that we're supposed to count it all joy. That's one of my favorite scriptures. Count it all joy when tests and trials come your way, because the testing of your faith is what's happening. You're being tested in your faith as a follower of God, Jesus Christ. You're being tested. Um, but it's very difficult to tell a person count it all joy because nobody likes an uncomfortable situation. Nobody likes hardship, tough times. But it is the way that God, most of the time, it is the way that God reveals Himself to us even more. Um, yes, it's wonderful to have many joyful moments in this life, but He reveals His love even more during our struggles.
Thank you. I know for myself, in I learn so much, I grow so much in those really dark, hard times.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and discover strength and resilience that I wouldn't have known otherwise,
Exactly.
that is there, and that we can keep going. I remember there was a really dark, scary, hard time in my life. It was after I married, and I remember just kind of being at the end, like I couldn't figure out what to do. Like I had no more solutions. I had no more plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, no more plans.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and I just remember, and I had been in an accident and pain, like just I just every way I had turned to trying to figure out how to move forward didn't work. And I remember on the stairs just crying, and I had all these emotions. I just kind of raged at God, like, and then scare and fear and all these emotions.
Yeah.
And right after I released all of that, there was this stillness. And then I felt God come to me and say, because I said, that's it, I give up. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't have anything left. I'm done. I can't keep going like this. I don't know what to do. I don't have anything left. It's gone. I'm done.
Yeah. And
and
that's how it can feel, definitely.
and then he came back to me and he said, "Really?" with a question mark. That's really everything. Is that really all you had? And it wasn't in a challenge, and it wasn't in a meet. It was a once I had released all that stuff, there was space for a question. And I realized, wow, no, I'm not done. I'm not ready to give up. There is a little bit more. And if I give up at this moment, I will always regret it. I know there's more. And I said, okay, God, you're right. I'm not done. There is more. Show me the way because I don't
Mm.
see it. And he
Yeah.
did. And, but I never would have known there was more. I never would have known there could be more. There was another way if I hadn't reached that point and been able to just get all of that out of me and
Yeah.
reach that point where I was open
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
direction. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Well,
well,
thank you for sharing part of your story.
yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm happy to. It just, as we're listening to you, I'm sure listeners feel stories and moments coming up as well as we continue our journey together. So, as you went through those moments and your trail of tears and you kept taking steps forward, was there a light at the end of the tunnel or something that you would pick up or look to or use as you were reading the scriptures, as you were, walking by faith, not necessarily by sight of what you saw or felt?
Yeah.
Was there something that continued to pull you forward and really give you that hope?
No, that's God Himself. I mean, like I said, I've been to heaven twice, and even with that, I lost my way. Even with knowing that God is real, heaven is real, I still lost my way because we know that bad things happen to Christians. And the thought of, losing custody of my kids, the thought of that really was destroying me on the inside. And I thought to myself, okay, that's a real possibility I have to face. And especially as a Christian, um, that even with that I knew even that would be temporary because your kids grow. They're not little forever. They turn 18 eventually. And even that gave me hope that, okay, well, I would one day see my children again. And this life here on this earth is not forever. But when we leave this life, it is forever. So nothing's ever lost. You have your children forever. Even we're going to separate at one point. We're going to die, and be separated temporarily when one of us is on this earth. But when we go to heaven, that's forever. And you will be reunited with all your loved ones, your children. They will be there. And so there's the hope that nothing is lost. Um, Separation is not forever.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing some of what you held on to and clung to as you were taking those steps and the perspective you were able to bring. Because when we're in those hard times, it can feel like it's forever. It
Yes.
becomes the focus, it becomes, I'm trying to take a breath place. And when we can step back and look at it from a larger perspective, a longer term perspective, that can give us encouragement, that can expand the view to help us continue to take steps. Well, I appreciate you sharing so authentically from your heart, from your spirit today. We're very excited about your book coming out that you're bringing to the world to bring hope and encouragement to others. As you reflect back on our conversation, is there anything on your heart that you want to share with our listeners today?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity again. What I'd like to share is when this part of my life 5 years ago, when this first started, I was really seeking God more and more. And my passion has always been wanting to help children. And so on my birthday back in 2021, I asked my children to come with me to a local church and just say a prayer on my birthday and to light a candle. And my prayer at that time, at that moment, was for God to put me where children need me the most, not knowing that my children really needed something different in me. I was saying a prayer for other kids, not knowing that my own kids were the ones that needed the help.
Mm.
And so when you ask God for something, He will deliver and you will receive. So with that prayer, He put me right on the front lines to be a soldier for Him. And so shortly, not even 2 months later, I'm on the front lines for God, entering spiritual warfare. And in the beginning, I was like, wow, this is such an honor. And not knowing the pain that I was going to have to walk through, but I would do it all over again because it's for God and it's for the greater good of His children.
Thank you for sharing. I love your commitment that continues to be there to help children and to stand in that place for them and bring forward hope and healing. Thank you so much for all that you're doing in the world. We're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. As we do so, listeners, this is an opportunity to gather your thoughts, write down things that are touching you, that are perhaps tools or perspectives you want to add to your toolbox, and we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes and had an opportunity to really reflect on your journey. And perhaps you're in a challenging time, a dark time, or you've come through one. And just remembering how resilient and strong you are and that you're not alone, and to keep that longer term perspective. I think those are really important tools, and really tapping into your faith. You're not alone, and really see where is your heart being pulled in that? What is coming forward? And if you've come through a challenging time, it's good to reflect on that and see what you've discovered and learned about yourself and what you're called to bring forward as a result of what you've learned and what you've survived and what you've come through. There's so much that we can do to support one another when we are willing to lean into our journeys and share along the way. I am bringing Dondee back on. Very excited again to have her joining us today. And when you're getting ready to release your book, it's a very busy time. So I appreciate her taking this time, Dondee, taking this time to be with us today. And I wanted for you to share the best way for people to connect with you. Those who are feeling a pull, they want to know more. They want to be able to stay in the loop with you around your book and other things that you're doing. What is the best way for people to connect in?
Well, there's two ways that they can connect with me. On Facebook, I have my author's page on there that they can follow, which will give updates of what's going on as part of my journey and the book release, as well as my website, which is called horizonofhopepress.com. And they can click on the link on the first page of that website that they can enter their email, and I will be providing a newsletter that will go out so that they will receive updates that way as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. And on Facebook, is it the same handle that you're using for your website, or how do they find you on Facebook?
They can look me up just by my first and last name.
Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. So just want to make sure the Facebookers out there know how to connect
Yeah,
as
thank
well.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. That's great. So thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
absolutely, absolutely. It was just a final piece of encouragement or tip that you want to share with our listeners today that they can carry with them into the day?
To know that they're never alone and that God is always with them. It might not always feel like that because it's very hard, that we can't really, we can see God. I mean, He communicates with us through different ways. He's given me signs starting in my early 20s, so I know how He communicates with me. You just have to be open to it. But it's hard when you can't visibly see or touch something. It's hard to keep the faith and to believe, but to know that He is always there with you. You just have to start building that relationship with Him. He's the greatest friend, the best friend that you will ever have in this life. When everybody else walks away, when you're abandoned and alone. When I was homeless, I was really scared. I didn't know where I was going to go, but God showed me. He revealed things to me, even in dreams, to let me know, to encourage me that He is with me.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love that reminder that we are never alone and that even at those times, I think we can even ask for encouragement, ask for a sign, ask for a way to know that we are not alone and to get that encouragement on our journey and find that way that we hear and connect. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. I wish you great success in the
Thank you,
release of your
Rebecca.
book.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Absolutely. My pleasure. We are walking beside you, cheering you on, and looking forward to the release of your book. Listeners, as you get ready to go back into the day, I really encourage you to take a few moments for you. You get to be in charge of the day, not the day. You can take 1 minute, 2 minutes for you and really see what do you want to drink in fully, bring in, integrate, and then breathe out what no longer serves and just choose how you want to step forward, who you want to be, and you can start being that one step at a time. And baby steps count. By golly, there's still movement forward in a good direction. So I just want to encourage you on your day that you remember that each of you are a gift, uniquely made with lots of different facets and sides and parts of you, and all are needed for such a time as this. You are a beautiful gift. And the biggest gift you can give the world, the way that we can start making the world the way we want it to be, the way we hope it will be, is being willing to share the gift of who we are with others authentically and trusting the world with that. So as you go forward out into the world, I hope that you choose to bloom where you're planted, that you choose to shine. And we would love to be part of your journey. to continue to support you. For those of you who are listening on Apple Podcasts, you can absolutely subscribe there, Spotify, our Radio. We'd love to stay connected and continue to support you on your journey. Oh, know that we're in all of those places. We're there to walk beside you. And I hope again that you choose to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone. And we'll look forward to talking to you next time.